Good morning and welcome to my 6th day of trading, the 11th combine using 20 contracts. As I opened my chart this morning, and it's now 8:12 in the morning Eastern Standard on August the 11th, I noticed that the prime had crossed up through the zero with everybody, which would have been a great entry, but that was at 21:37 on the 10th. To have taken a long. And the way the jerk is outside up over the upper narrows, we have a continuation of the upward of the long. Now I need to explain to you the changes to my layout because I needed to follow the Holy Spirit's prompting again. But first, before I do that, let's do the pre-market check. Let's ask the following questions. Let me turn on the spin line because the Spirit has told me it is useful in real time. And I've got it the wrong place. Let me put that in region 1. All right. Let me do the same thing here on the RLM. Today I'm recording real time so that you get a feel for my thinking as I do my 6th day of my 11th combine. All right, pre-market check, or I'm not pre-market, but pre-trade check before we enter a position, pre-position check. Number 1, where's the spin line? The spin line is a down color, but it's still above the zero, telling us continuation of the uptrend. Next is, what's the inline doing? Now the inline is not displayed, but let's turn it on because that was part of the original trading plan. So let's turn that on too. There we go. The inline is already above the zero and remains above the zero, bouncing off the zero. Now we ask, what's the prime doing? The prime is this light, the inline is this dashed pink and red. The spin is the large dotted dot, green and red. And the prime is this very light color, and I doubt if you see it unless I make it thicker. So let me make that thicker so you can see the prime. About 2 should do it. This pink and red is above the mids going up. And then we ask, what's the jerk doing? The jerk is this dotted blue and red, and it's also outside the upper danger zone. And so we are still continuing up. And technically, we really shouldn't get out until the prime goes back down into the danger zone. So we have more up to go. So, and the ask and bid lines are pushing the top bar. So that says up. The one down here for the hot says up. The RLM says up. So we cleared our score. So let's go buy into the market. And it immediately gave us a minus 250, but that's all right. We're going to have a slow upward market with retraces is actually what's going to happen as the prime stays above the upper narrows. So we'll just let that go. And the ask bid lines is also pushing up here. All of these look good. The prime going up, the bin going up, the jerk going up, the spin is above the zero, so we also buy here. Everybody, the inline going up, yep, jerk above the upper narrows, so everybody is saying up. So we'll just hold this position I'm going to watch my risk now because I don't want to have a minus 1000 over minus 1000 that I need to overcome. And I'm intently watching the bid-ask line to see how it's pushing on the current bar. As long as it's remaining halfway above the halfway point of the current bar, then I'm okay. The bin. Oh, now it's time for me to explain the additional lines. So first I want to hide the inline. Oh no, I don't want to hide the inline because I used that for the exit condition. Yeah, there are too many lines up there, so that kind of like confuses the heck out of people. So what I will do is I will bring some of them into the second region. Spin, let's bring that to the second region. The in we'll bring into the second region. The scalar, prime scalar, we'll enable in the second region, and I'm going to turn on the narrows for the second region. And hopefully they'll clear up some of the clutter up here. So here is the second region. The prime is up, the spin is up, the in is up, so everything is looking good for a continued uptrend while the jerk is also going up. Now let me explain to you the changes in the layout. Okay, we're already minus, came back up, so we're okay. Alright, I created the B inline, this green and light green and dark green dotted. And the reason I created that is because that's combo B. Combo B is the difference between prime and jerk, whereas combo A, which is the solid red line that we're seeing here, is the addition of prime and jerk. Now, the inline, the B in, tends to be a bit predictive because I've offset it by 5. And essentially, if green is above, we're in an uptrend. If red is above, then a downtrend is coming or will be in a downtrend. But you could also have invisible crossings that happen right here. Now, even though the red is above here, the jerk, which is this lightly dotted blue and red, is going up above the dangers, upper narrows. So that's continued up. So that's why we took a long. And we're just going to stay in that long probably until B in crosses back down through the zero outside the narrows. Or actually, as we see here in the history, as B in crosses down into the mids and upper danger zone, or crosses any line. So right now there are no line crossings happening, so we're still on a continued up. Yep, everything is still looking good for continued up. And here on the RLM, we're still not positive, but I believe everything is still looking good for continued up. You also have your bin, and you also have your A, your alpha. I moved away from the bars, just trying out this new layout to see how well it'll help me. I'm now going to move the spin to the second area in order to minimize the clutter that we see here. And narrows into 2. And I need to turn on the prime. And while I'm at this, I need to turn on the mids in the the narrows that we have down there. So let me turn on those mids. I'll only be with you until 9:20ish because I need to go to a meeting. Okay, the mids are in for that. Turn the mids on for this one. Ah, what happened? Oh, there it is. So far out, that's why. But we'll keep it watched. Again, essentially, we're watching for that prime to go enter the danger zone. Looks like I need the danger zone too on these lower narrows, on the narrows at the bottom. So let me turn on the danger zone. Keeping it light. Actually, just keep it the same. Now, I have these narrows too far out on the bottom, so let me bring them in. Because according to the top here, the prime is still outside the upper narrows, so we need to get narrows here that we're using in region 2 calibrated. So it looks like 3. Looks like 4. Okay, 4 it is. This is how you do calibration. Really very seat of the pants. This is more an art than a science. Essentially what I'm doing is making the prime look the same down here in relation to what's up here. And 4 is about it. Yeah, that's about it. Actually 4 point something, but I'm not going to go into points. So we're still in up. We've accumulated 1,000 on the ES and 400 on the RLM. And let's see where we are on the calibration of this one too. So this one is just a bit off also. Yep, that will do. So prime in inline now on the ES is going down. Jerk is still the up color. We've gone down to 500. Bin is going into the upper danger zone, so technically we should be getting out. But with, let's look at the hot, we've got up blocks and the inline just crossed through, prime is going towards the upper narrows, so we're fine. Just stay with it. Here the bin on the RLM isn't even going down towards the 0. Prime is still strong up. Jerk of the low order is just popping out of the upper danger zone. So we've got more up to go. Let's double check this, so that update. Again, same story as the inline gets into the lower mids. We're in a continued up on the Russell Hot. But as you can see, we're not making much profit. Let's see where that bid-ask is pushing. Bid-ask is pushing right there, still at the top of the bar, so that's okay. We'll stay with it. The bin line has flattened out outside the upper danger zone, so that's a good news for us. It'll be continued up. And I'm going to tighten up my stop on the ES and just bring the stop right about here on the RLM. And it's just a waiting game until it's only 8:28. 9 o'clock isn't even in here yet. And where is our quote board? Because I want to find out what's our volume on the ES. Our volume on the ES is near 200K, and when it gets to 200K, that's a good time to be in a trade. So we're getting there. 16 minutes. I'm gonna pause so that this video doesn't take so long. It's now 8:30. We have 1,000 on the ES and 400 on the RLM. The bin line is not crossing any other lines on the RLM lot, so we're still okay. There are still no line crossings, but then I don't expect any because the jerk is above everybody else. Bin is also still flat outside the upper danger zone on the ES, so continued up. The in line hasn't made it below, and the spin line is, even though it's down color, the spin line is this dotted red, is still above the 0. Looking at the hot, everybody is still going up with the inline crossing through the 0, headed with a nice angle towards the upper danger zone. So we're still going up. I'm going to pause. It's 8:32. The bid-ask lines on the RLM lot is pushing the top of the bar, so that's a good news. And the same story on the bid-ask lines on the ES, pushing the top of the bar of the ES lot. So good news. And bin is still flat. The B inline, this dark and light green, still flat above the danger zone going up. And the jerk lot still got good color going up. So we're still going up. I've got a 9:30 appointment, so God willing I can get out by 9 o'clock from this current position. The RLM are beginning to flatten. The inline and the prime on the lot is beginning to go down. Let me see if I can find my, there we go. Inline flattening, prime beginning to flatten. The spin line is still above the 0. The bin line isn't going down and crossing down on anyone, so we're still okay. And the jerk is pushing itself outside of the upper narrows, so we're fine. Now, in order to minimize clutter, I think I'm going to move jerk into the second region. So move that into region 2, apply, and I can make that thicker now. and make it a solid line so it doesn't scalar, solid, okay, apply. Make that thicker. This jerk is an important indicator. So there it is. And I just realized that jerk scalar is too far out. Let me get it in. It's about 5. That's still too far out. Make it about 3. Yep, that looks good. The inline is now making it back down into the 0, but the prime is still above the mids, so we stay with it. The bin is now in the upper danger zone, going sideways, so we stay with that. We're now the bid-ask line is in the half of the bar, so we have weakness, but we stay with it. Let's move the same thing here. I'm going to move the jerk. Into region 2. And it's too far up. Let's cut it down a bit. It's probably 4, 5. And we can probably, we now can make them thicker. Thinking of cutting them down just a little teeny bit more. A bit too much, maybe 4. Yep, that's better. Save. The bid-ask lines are pushing the top of the bars again, so that's good news. The bin is flat in the upper danger zone, and the prime is still climbing, got up colors, and the alpha is still up, so good. But if we ever have a invisible crossing down on the alpha and everybody change down colors, yeah, it's time to bail out. There are no crossings. This is a powerful indicator right here. All the lines crossing at the same time through the 0 going up on the RLM lot. That is powerful. That means we should be going up with nice strength. So there should be no fear in staying in our position. And that's the same story here on the ES. Jerk is still nice and strong, prime is still nice and strong. And let me change the prime, because the prime scalar needs to be upped a little. 3 is way too much. Maybe 1.7. Again, the art of calibration. 1.7 is still a bit way too much. So now the reason why I want the jerk above, the prime above the jerk here in region 2 is that the crossing down into the jerk is going to be an indicator for us. So the prime is just a tad too much. Looks like 1.3. Yep, essentially prime is with jerk. So be it. We have 1,500 on the ES so far, 1,400 on the RLM, 26 minutes on this video. I'm going to go break even on the RLM and break even on the ES with my stops. I believe when I reach 1,000, any reason to exit? Still no reasons to exit. Not at all. Spin, even though down color is in the upper danger zone, inline is flat in the upper danger zone. The jerk of the ES lot is still going up, prime is still going up, bin is going sideways on the upper danger zone, and alpha combo A still up. Prime is still up on the RLM lot, bin is still up, alpha is still up, everything is up. Bid-ask lines pushing the top of the bar, although it's retreated a bit on the RLM. The prime is beginning to flatten out. That's all right. So that was the highest point. We could have exited there. My intuition was telling me to take profit, but I didn't. So be it. There will be many more blessings. Bin is now below the danger zone, going flat with an up color. Prime is still up. Jerk is up on the ES. The inline is flat between the mids and the danger zone here on the ES lot. We're still, the bid-ask line is still kind of like pushing the top of the bar. Same thing with the RLM. We've got another 1,100 before the next bar gets created on the RLM, and another 1,400 before the next bar on the ES. It's now 8:43. We're now, the RLM has retreated back, just so that we don't get stopped out. I'm going to move my stop to just slightly below break even, or at break even. We have down color on the inline. Jerk is still going up. Prime is still going up. Prime is still going up, also on the RLM. The inline is still going up. So we still stay. I believe when I see 2,000 on the RLM, I'm just going to go take profit. If it does get 2,000. May not. Pausing. So I'm taking profit. I'm tired of waiting. I flattened the RLM, I flattened the ES, so 750 and 1,200. So that's production for today, and I'll just stay with that. The bin line has entered into the danger zone, headed towards a zero with a down, and prime and alpha all turned down as the prime crossed down into the jerk. So that was a good place to get out, although I should have gotten out earlier because it was telling me to get out earlier. I knew that, and now we're pushing the bid-ask lines, pushing the middle of the bar, and the RLM is still up there at the top, but inline is flatter, but at least nobody has changed colors like we changed colors here. So with this change in color, that's an invisible crossing as the bin now goes down below the zero. As you can see, everything turned toward the downside, so the up may have officially ended, but actually not. Because remember, as I said, prime needs to make it down into the danger zone for us to go take profit. But I'm not going to stand for this retrace, so I got out. So there we go, 1,950 in 80 fills. And that is day 6 of my 11th combine. Blessings to you. 32 minutes.